Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Al Holland Show live here from Buffalo Wild Wings. We're here with Coach Al Holland. Al, tough loss on Saturday.
It was a tough loss. Very proud of our kids' effort. You playing the number 3 team in the country and went toe-to-toe with them for 60 minutes in this ball game. And you had every opportunity to come back with a big win and a big upset on the road. And playing for a lot at stake this past weekend, with both teams being undefeated in the conference and really for a conference championship. So, kids really prepared well this past week, really worked really hard and bought into the game plan and went out there and executed just a play or two short here or there and really could have changed the game and changed the outcome.
Well, I know I kept up with you on the stats because live stats over the weekend.
Yep.
It looked like you got down early and then made a big comeback really at the half and had a chance to take the lead in at halftime.
Yeah, gave up a couple plays early in the game there, and their initial punch, and that's what we sort of said is we got to answer that initial punch in the game, and they made some plays offensively. We didn't really get going until that second quarter. I think we had negative 2 yards of offense there for like the first 3 drives, and then all of a sudden you had a Whitmore made a tough catch on the sideline, and then all of a sudden here we go offensively, get going, and now we tie the ball game up at 16, and had it was ironic and very crazy that me as a coach I hardly ever see is you have 2 safeties in the game. You had one on both sides of the ball in this ball game that worked out. So that was something that was very different throughout this game. But then in that second half it went back and forth, and we had opportunities. We tied the ball game and then had opportunities to make them have to play from behind and just a play short here or there.
Well, let's go some highlights if we're ready to see what happened Saturday. 9 weeks.
It flies by, don't it? Here's the early touchdown to Braxton Whitmore here in the first half of the ball game, and the fumble right here. That play was set up. Really, Chris Dublin saves a touchdown right here and running one down from the backside, and then they call a timeout and come out and create a turnover. So a heck of a job there. They got a really good quarterback, very athletic. He made a big play late in the game, but, I felt like we contained him throughout most of the day. Jerron Bronex, that you'll get to talk to here in a few minutes with the safety here, had 9 tackles on the day. The safety recovered the fumble. A heck of a day by the freshman as he continues to get better. Vic Johnson here on a big play in this ball game, and I talked to the kids about their moment. You got to be ready for your moment and to take advantage of it, whether it's one play or whether it's 65 plays. And Willie gets a touchdown here, but Braden Randall, the senior, ended up being player of the week for us for one of our offensive guys, but getting the big kick out block on that one touchdown. Sean Cook, a senior safety, made that pick. The film's a little bit bad. It ended up being a little bit tight, and so you missed some stuff here that's at the top of the screen, but that was a big run by X, and Alex Shelton here with the touchdown catch. The freshman is going to be a really good player for us in this offense, and made some big plays, had 93 yards. Emmett Kersey there with a nice sack on the day. Alex Shelton again here on another play. We seemed like we got to that inside that 10-yard line, that 4 or 5 yard line, and then every single drive just couldn't finish the big plays off and score. But felt like every time they threw the football, we did a great job of getting pressure on their quarterback and containing their run game for the most part. And Anthony Brown, you'll get to talk to here in just a minute, but very proud of the kids' effort, and we're growing up as a football team. You went toe-to-toe with the number 3 team in the country, and we're getting to where we want to be. Now we got to pull out those wins when you're on the road like that.
That's true. Those road wins are always hard to come by.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, especially when you make mistakes down the stretch, it makes it tough.
Yeah, and you can't turn the football over. We had the ball on the ground there. We missed a chip shot field goal, So them things, we had 21 anywhere from 9 to 21 points down there and opportunities that you're in the red zone. You got to come out with points. And in big ball games like that, you can't have those mistakes. You got to come away with points, and no matter if it's 3 points or if it's 7, all those, end up changing the game and can change the outcome. But, proud of our guys' effort. We got to bounce back. We got to continue to grow. We got to get better from this past week because the schedule don't get no easier as we move forward either.
That's true. Everybody healthy from last week?
We got some guys banged up just a little bit, but hoping to get some guys back in practice today, and get everybody back full health for Thursday. The middle of the week off day on that Wednesday is really big for us because that allows us to get extra treatment going into our perfect Thursday practice as we sort of move forward. So, Monday's a learning day for us as we sort of get some guys banged up. They'll get less reps, and we'll get some other guys some reps. So, hopefully by the end of the week we're back to full health and ready to go.
Well, yeah, it's hard this time of season not to be banged up, as you know. You played a lot of games and a lot of minutes.
And the great thing about early in the season, we had some injuries early in the year, but it's sort of built some depth on this football team. So when we've had some injuries here late or somebody go down throughout a ball game, the next guy's ready to step up and to play and to make his play. So that's been good for us as we come down the stretch here.
Well, it looks like we've come to the end of our first segment. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on the Coach Al Holland Show. Welcome back to the Coach Al Holland Show live here at Buffalo Wild Wings. We're here with Anthony Brown. And Anthony, you're a fifth-year senior. I know you got injured last year and got a redshirt year out of it.
Yes, sir, I did. I tore my ACL and my meniscus last year, and it was a kind of a struggle getting back to where I am today. But I mean, it's a blessing, and I really can't complain about it. Got to take it and keep going with it.
Okay. Looking at your career stats, you had 38 receptions, 609 yards, averaging 16 yards a catch. You got 5 TDs, and actually we had a good season start too. 18 receptions, 306 yards, averaged to 17 yards, a little bit better than your average, and 2 touchdowns. Nice start.
Thank you. I mean, it was a lot of growing up and knowing what I could do as it was coming into this season, because I was more confident in knowing the offense and stuff like that. So, I mean, just being in the right place at the right time, trying to make big plays.
I see you're from Louisville. What school did you go to in Louisville?
Seneca High School.
Okay. I saw Seneca's made the playoffs again this year.
I didn't even see. I haven't really been keeping up with them lately. Been trying to make sure we make the playoffs. That's the goal.
I understand. That's exactly right. But so you look like you got one brother, your mom and dad and everything?
Yes, sir. Mom and dad married, come from a nice home.
Well, good. Do they get to come to many of the games?
Yes, sir, when they're not working. I mean, they come to every one they can. Can't complain.
It's not a bad drive. About, what, 3.5 hours?
3.5. They try to come to as many as they can, but they work a lot too. So, I mean, I don't really, be looking for them to be in the stands, but I appreciate when they do come because I know that they're working and they help me out, so I really can't complain.
Yes, sir. And so you started playing football when you're 7 years old,
Flag football.
flag football.
Yes, sir. And then the next year I went into equipment. So it was kind of, kind of rough transition the first year into it. When I turned 8, I was kind of scared to get hit and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, it was smooth. I started out as a quarterback.
What did they recruit you in as a quarterback
No,
here?
I actually became a quarter. I switched from quarterback to receiver my freshman year of high school because we had a quarterback. He was like ranked in the nation. He was like 5 in the nation at the time, and I was just trying to get on the field and just being able to play. And I knew that I could do more than just throw the ball. I could actually use my feet and run and make big plays with my feet. So I mean, I felt like if I could catch the ball and make plays, then that's where it could help me out. And then I liked it throughout the transition.
I always like when a guy gets able to find a way on the field, no matter what it takes, to get out there and help his team and help himself.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of tough though to transition because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you really never seen, but at the same time when you play receiver, I mean, you can look and see where where you're supposed to be because you know where the quarterback's looking if you know the call and what's going on.
Good point. And let's see. Looks like you've had several injuries in your football career.
Yeah, I
Haven't you?
got hurt in high school too. I tore my ACL for the first time my junior year of high school, and it just kind of like bothered me my senior year and my junior year. So I mean, it kind of kept me from being in a lot of stuff. Like I was going to be in the East-West All-Star game in my senior year, but I couldn't really participate because I had a sprained meniscus going on, and I was trying to get back to football, and making sure I was eligible to, not eligible, being ready to play for college. I was focusing up and trying to get healthy.
Well, I like your attitude. Just keep going after it until you get there.
Yeah, I mean, I could have last year. I could have put it down and just graduated, but I was just like a senior season of nothing. I mean, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Like I just felt like I could come back out here and give my guys the best that I could, just being able to play. Just had to work and work harder than I did the first time.
I like that you're leading by example on working your way back in after an injury and not giving up on things.
I mean, ain't no point in quitting. Sometimes, it's just a little battle you got to get through to get to where you want to be.
So what do you think the biggest difference between high school and college football?
I feel like college football is more organized, so it's more at a slower pace than like, say in high school, coach will play guys if they don't know the plays. In college, you gotta like know the plays to play. So like, it's not like guys just scattered out everywhere, just running around, just trying to make plays. It's like people actually, it's a lineman assignment and knowing where to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be anywhere and not somebody be open in college. Like, if you take that wrong step and you go the wrong direction, you could have somebody right over top of your head going in for 6.
That's true. You're exactly right. What's your favorite memory here at UPike?
Nothing's going to top the conference ring. That's the best thing that has probably happened. That's very big in like accomplishments in life for me.
That is big. First one ever for the school.
Yeah.
Nobody else will ever have that experience.
And it was nice to celebrate it with some group of guys. I mean, at that time when we won that, like we weren't even expecting to be in the position to make it there.
So, what do you want to do when you leave here at UPike?
I want to coach. First things first, like I want to coach and work with football. But if that doesn't happen as soon as I wanted to, then I'll find a job within my major as a business major. I want to work in like the operational management field, sales manager, stuff like that. It makes nice money, and it's just something that I'm interested in. Later on in life, maybe a business.
What made you choose Pikeville?
I mean, it was close to home. It was either come here or go to Cali, and I felt like when I came here, it was like it felt home. I had a nice connection with a lot of the coaches, and the coach that recruited me, he was a Louisville native, so it was like when I came and I was talking to him, he made me feel comfortable and made me feel like, it'd be home for me.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you, Anford, coming by and talking to us, and good luck on the rest of the season. We're going to take a break and be right back on the Coach Al Holland Show. And welcome back to the Coach Al Holland Show. We're here with Jerron Brodniks, linebacker.
Yes, sir.
From the University of Pikeville. Jerron's had a really good start to his freshman season, 45 tackles, 24 of them solo, 21 assisted. And in the last game, he had 9 tackles. Let's see, 5 solo, 4 assists, 2 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. So you had a nice evening down south there in Georgia.
Yes, sir.
And so tell me where you're from.
I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina. So you're a big Gamecocks fan.
Yes, sir.
And say Coach Mobley recruited you up here?
Yes, sir.
Is Mobley what made you come to Pikeville?
Oh, yeah.
Make that little bit of home coming with him?
Yeah.
How big, do you come from a big family?
Yes, sir. I got 8 siblings, and I live with my mom and grandma.
Any of your siblings play sports as well, or?
Yes, sir. All of them play football, wrestling, track. Yeah, but that's about it.
Who was the biggest influence in your life?
My whole family, you know, I do everything for them because they sacrifice a lot for me. So, yeah.
Are you the oldest, the middle child?
I'm a twin, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the two of you, are you the oldest two or the
Nah,
youngest?
I'm the
two?
youngest.
Okay.
8 minutes apart.
8 minutes apart. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So does your brother? Does he play in football in college somewhere? Or?
He's at the school with me, but he wasn't able to play this year because due to an injury. So.
Okay. And what age did you guys start playing football?
We started playing football at the age of 5.
Where did you go to high school at?
I went to high school at Columbia High School.
Columbia. Oh, so you're right down in the town of Columbia, then, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you get a lot of awards and stuff in high school? Or?
You could say that I got an award for track. I got all region in track, in football, and I also got in wrestling. And I made the nationals team for track. So yeah.
Pretty impressive. Since you're a freshman here, what was the biggest difference you found in college football versus high school football?
The game speed. That was a real big difference. The game speed.
Yeah, that's what I like to tell them when you come in. You know, you were the guy on campus, probably the fastest, maybe the best. And everything you get up here, and everybody you're playing against was the fastest and the best at the high school they went to.
Yes, sir.
Makes it a little bit more. Makes it more fun, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's more fun, more competition, so it could push you to be better.
What's your major?
My major is nursing.
Nursing.
Yes, sir.
So you like to help people?
Yeah, I like to help people.
Well, that's nice. And let's see. So you plan to go back to Columbia after college?
Yes, sir.
You want to work in a hospital or what kind of nursing?
Yeah, I want to work in a hospital. Yeah.
So how hard is it living away from home?
It's a little. It's all right. You know, it's not like you don't have your family with you to steer you in the right direction sometimes. So you got to start making decisions on your own.
Well, now, since are you identical twins?
We're fraternal.
Okay. So is it good having him up here with you?
Oh yeah.
Kind of keep each other in line, do you?
Yes, sir.
So what were your individual goals coming into the season?
Well, just to be a key player on the team, help the team get wins.
What would you say your favorite football memory is?
Favorite football memory? It was actually last week when I got the hit on the QB, because it got the sideline hype, and it changed the momentum of the game.
Yeah, that was a good one. Y'all came real close to pulling one out.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite aspect of the game of football?
Oh, I just love hitting. I love it.
Well, that's good for being a linebacker, like to hit people,
yes.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a favorite NFL team?
Carolina Panthers.
Like staying at home, huh?
Yeah.
So who's your favorite player on the Panthers?
Cam Newton.
Probably didn't even have to ask that one, did I?
Yeah, Cam Newton.
So now that you're in town in Pikeville, what's your favorite thing to do here?
Just hang with my teammates and get to know people around the campus.
So, you know, you're coming to Pikeville's quite a bit smaller town, really, than Columbia, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, is it harder to find things to do for you, or?
Yeah, it's not like you can go to the mall or go out to like Dave and Buster's arcade like that. You just got to be more creative with what you want to do. It's not just there for you.
Of course, I'm sure they keep you pretty busy here with not a whole lot of free time anyway.
Yes, sir.
Practice. As a matter of fact, y'all got practice right after the show tonight, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So, anything you'd like to say to anybody out there?
I'd like to thank my mom and my grandma for getting me here, and yeah.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for this segment. Thank you, Mr. Brodnick. Appreciate you stopping by, and we'll be right back on the Coach Al Holland Show.
Thank you too.
Welcome back to the Coach Al Holland Show here on live from Buffalo Wild Wings. And Al, got another big conference game coming up Saturday. You on the road again?
It does, and this one's a tough one on the road. 6 o'clock kickoff. It'll be a little cold on Saturday night, but it'll be something we're used to with these night practices. So it sort of help acclimate us for this opportunity come Saturday night.
Well, now Bluefield is colder than it is here anyway.
You got that right.
Like I say, we kept talking about, depending on where you're standing, that you're going to be either West Virginia or Virginia somewhere up there.
That's right. So they got a good football team, though. Their record don't indicate where they are. I think they're 4-5 on the season right there. They beat Union this past week on the road, and that's a big win for them. So they're going to be coming in with some confidence, and more than likely, I would imagine it'll probably be their senior day. So they'll be playing with high spirits and wanting to send those guys out in the right way. So, it's going to be a tough one for us, tough test. How are we going to rebound after a loss? First time we've lost in a while. We went on that 4-game winning streak, and how's our young team going to handle adversity? Are we going to come back with full steam and be ready to go and to set our presence early, or are we going to be a little sluggish coming out of the gates? But that's the thing I don't want going to Bluefield this week.
Well, you had the long travel week last week. This week's not quite as bad of a trip. But now Bluefield, always a team that plays us tough up there.
They do, and year in and year out, the year we win the championship, it goes down to the last play of the game on the 1-yard line. Last year, the game comes down to the last drive, and they're driving down, their defense stops them. It was 20-17 game, So, year in and year out, it's been a great game, and it's also sort of become great for our fans, because whether we're playing here or at Bluefield, our fans tend to follow well and ends up having great crowds at those games. So that makes it fun for our kids to play in that atmosphere every single year.
Bluefield coming in, big must-win game for you to try to stay in pace in the conference.
Yeah, and it is. And, we need to stay in the hunt for this thing. And you never know what can happen in the Mid-South. You've seen crazy things happen. Reinhardt's the front runner. And, they beat both us and Cumberland's. They beat Bluefield as well. So, everybody's really for sure playing for second place. But, can we make some noise and can something crazy happen? But you want to put yourself in position to be there just in case it does.
That's true. You always want to finish up your season strong.
Right.
Because you got a lot of these kids. You got a lot of young kids due to the injuries you had early on. You got a lot of freshmen getting a lot of playing time.
We do, and you're going to have a bunch coming back, even though you got 18, 19 seniors on this football team. Some of those guys are out with injuries and season-ending injuries, and so you're going to have a lot of these guys coming back from a year from now. To be able to finish the season with 2 big wins with some momentum going into the offseason would be huge for us. And so we got to win this one. This is the most important game on the schedule right now. We got to get to 1-0 this weekend. Let's continue to build, and let's get to 6 wins on the season before we ever look ahead for 2 weeks down the road.
Well, like I say, we recovered from the early onset of injuries. You lost probably your best defensive player. I don't think there's any doubt. We'll throw that out there. And then you just have had a bunch of nagging injuries. You're starting to get some of those kids back. Have they been able to step back in and make an impact?
Well, they have, and it's been huge for us. Like one week we play at point. Emmett Kersey's out. Then you see him in the highlights making getting a sack there, and then you had Green was out. Cedric Thomas has been banged up a little bit. Chris Dublin, you missed him early in the season. Then, this past week ends up being one of our players of the week, with 8 or 9 tackles, so, getting those guys back consistently and getting to play fast and trusting each other, has been huge for us defensively, and just trying to continue to build momentum offensively and to push and to have an opportunity to win ball games.
Coming up Saturday, not a long trip. Is it going to be an overnight trip for you?
It won't be. With it being a night game, we turned it into a day trip for us. With it being a little over 2 hours for us, about 2.5 hours on the bus, which we will take the long route down and sort of go down through Wise and go that way just because of pregame meal and everything timing out before kickoff, because typically like to eat 4 hours before kickoff. It's just a old football remedy that everybody sort of does, and it's just one of those so your food settles and things and you're ready to go. But that way that works out, and it'll be a day trip for us. So we'll get up and we'll have breakfast here as a team. We'll have our walkthroughs, then we'll pack our bags and then we'll hit the road. So we treat it just like a home game with Friday walkthroughs and team movie and those type things. So.
Well, it looks like we've come to the end of our time here today. Anything you'd like to say to everybody?
Just let's make that short trip over to Bluefield and wear that orange and black, and let's support these young men, and let's get this big win this weekend.
Well, for Coach Al Holland, this is Charlie Pinson. We'll see you next week on the Coach Al Holland Show.